going to do a little arc to try to get under you. 100 feet back, making that dive. Too cool here.
That 38 is no matter what I do, he's today.
Race friends, it's time for the fastest 2 hours in motorsports. It's time for On Pit Road Racing, right here, right now, live from downtown Las Vegas on the flagship station, the WCOBM Television Network. Our race team will have all the latest news, updates, and interviews for the world of motorsports. So buckle up and pull those belts tight. The green flag is in the air, and it's time to go racing. And here are the hosts of On Pit Road Racing, Alan Michaels and the First Lady, Diane Fox.
We are.
There we are.
There we are. It's coming in, man. It's building really good today, man.
Yeah, it is.
The system working out. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to On Pit Road Racing. I'm Alan Michaels, and the lovely lady sitting beside me is the First Lady of On Pit Road Racing. That is Diane Fox. Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Are you
having
feeling-
just having a little.
Your headphones are. You got them adjusted?
Yeah,
You got
I
them
think
there?
they're okay for today.
Yeah, well, you ought to be happy because boy, did your boy hit a couple of weeks ago. Ryan Blaney got himself a big win, so you're happy he's on his way to the championship.
Yep.
So you're a happy
That's
camper
sure.
about that. Not too good of a weekend for Ryan in Sonoma last weekend. And ended up finishing better than what thought would happen, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, it just always seems that when he really is having that momentum, somebody takes him out.
Somebody takes him out. Somebody
Right.
always taking him out. Hey, great show lined up for you today, man. You all get your notebooks, get your pads, your papers, get your iPads, getting ready to go because we're going to take you to school this week.
Yep.
What do you mean take them to school? We got two great guests. We've got two race car drivers who are also engineers, man.
Yes.
That build their cars. We're going to have shop talk with Billy Mitchell a little bit later on.
We should learn a lot today.
We should. And also joining us coming up here in about 25 minutes, I believe he's over in New Jersey. He's over somewhere around the United States. It'll be Russell Soto is going to join us, man. Have you've been reading the bio on this young man?
I have. And this young man is, I mean, I could sit and talk to him all day.
It's unbelievable, this kid. So anyhow, we're going to talk racing. We're going to talk engineering, both with Russell and with Billy. Russell's more into the open wheel stuff, where Billy's got more of the stock car stuff. So get your notebooks out, get your things ready to go. On Pit Road Racing comes from you from the WCOBM television studios. We are located downtown Las Vegas at 450 Fremont Street. The show airs each and every Wednesday starting at 5 p.m. on the Pacific time. You can catch it right here at the WCOBM.tv. We've got it streaming on about a dozen different formats.
Yep.
One thing I do want to make, if you're tuning into YouTube, they've got a connection problem with YouTube today. So we'll post it up after we're done. We'll put it up on the archives. But we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on the network, we're all over the place, man. So just a really good thing out there. Gene Woods Racing Experience, show partners out there for us today, man, at Worldwide Web right here at On Pit Road Racing. And you can find those two great locations at Worldwide Web, GoKartsLasVegas.com. 121 East Sunset Road, and of course 450 Fremont Street downtown for the drift track. Woods Family Sandwiches. We're getting ready to take a ride over to see Daylin because I know you're just foaming for some chicken, and I want that roast beef wrap.
And their chicken salad. I mean, nobody did like the James Bond. Nobody does it better.
Nobody does it better. She don't buy no store-bought product.
No.
She makes it herself.
Yes.
Woods Family Sandwich, Worldwide Web at WFSandwiches.com. Of course, the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame right here were our shoes. We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later for you. And you can find all the information at Worldwide Web, hotshoeshof.com. Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Man, that's our racetrack here at LVMS.com. Of course, two great events coming up at the big track. We got racing at the Bull Ring this weekend. And also our brand new show partner, Atlanta Motorsports Park, man.
That's just exciting news. When you called me and told me that, I was just like jumping for joy, happy dance.
It was something else. This place is in all places. It's called the Atlanta Motorsports Park, but it's home to Dawsonville, Georgia, where Chase and Bill Elliott are at, man. So, and they said it's right across the street from them.
Yeah, and the commercials that they sent us and stuff, this place looks amazing.
They've got condos there. They got a 3-phase condo unit that's already done. Another one that they're going to put in the middle of the track. So it's like it's the motorsports of country clubs.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That is something else. On Pit Road Racing. And man, in fact, next week, Jeremy Porter, the president and the CEO of Atlanta Motorsports Park, is going to be on this show with us next
Oh,
week.
yeah, and he can explain it all to us.
He can talk it all.
Explain it all to us.
Shall we get into some racing news and action?
Sure.
But let's do the weather first. It's brought to you by our good friends at Woods Family Sandwiches, 2 great locations here in Las Vegas and up in Boulder City. Diane, how's racing weather looking this weekend?
Well, Las Vegas looks really, really good for this weekend. Sunny skies and hot. It's going to have a daytime high upper 90s with a Father's Day temp of hitting triple digits at 100. Columbus, Ohio for the IndyCar. You're looking at partly cloudy skies with high in the mid 80s. So that'll be a nice, that'll be a nice rain day. This weekend in Montreal, Canada for the F1 event, and I'm not sure, cloudy with an 80% chance of rain all weekend long. So it looks like those F1 drivers will pull out those rain tires. Temps in the mid 70s, so that'll make it a little cool.
Ooh, it's going to be cold and rain and the water flying around you, man. It's going to be a soggy cockpit for the F1 drivers,
exactly.
that's for sure.
NASCAR and the NHRA have the weekend off, and I wanted to say happy Father's Day to all our racing fan dads and drivers.
Yep, sure do. And just a special shout out, I want to say, first of all, hey, we got to give our tip our helmets. How about our local Vegas Golden Knights bringing on the Stanley Cup last night?
Exciting, and it has got it's got the city just, I mean, happy smiles everywhere. I mean, happy smiles everywhere.
There were people that posted on Facebook today that said, why is Las Vegas so busy? What is going on that this town is just jumping last night? Well, I guess they didn't figure it out. What was it, a 9-3 shellacking of Florida last night? I mean,
that was
that was what I was just about to say. That's opened up a can of Stone Cold Steve Austin whoop ass, and that's exactly what they did last night. So congratulations to the Golden Knights. 6 years in the NHL. The first year they made it, they got taken out by Washington. Made the playoffs every year except last year, but came back strong this year and won it all, man.
And they started out as being called the Misfits.
Yeah.
They're champions.
They're champions now. They can be misfits all they want to be misfits,
now.
but it don't make any difference, man.
That's right.
That's our any shout outs that you'd like to say hi to people out there today?
Well, just want to shout out to, like I said, coming up Father's Day, all my father friends and the drivers and all the race fans and stuff. I hope everybody has a safe and happy Father's Day weekend.
Same here. Like to wish all the dads out there a good, happy weekend. All of our racing family out there, good weekend. You guys are going to be at the Bull Ring here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway Friday and Saturday night. So happy Father's Day to all the dads out there working on their dads and working on their kids, sons and daughters' cars out there. So that also want to send out a special shout out to Claire B. Lang from Sirius XM. Man, Claire's a good friend of ours, and we opportunity twice each year that her studio is right next to our studio in the war room at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And Claire, we just got done off the phone, talked to a rep from you, and we're looking forward. We're going to try to get Claire on this show. 30 years of broadcasting, and the woman never even started off to be a broadcaster in sports and got slammed into a studio.
And to have her sit and talk with us, that's just going to be amazing.
Boy, she's got
a lot. I bet she's got some stories to tell.
I bet she's got some dirt too.
Well, we won't ask her the dirt.
We'll
ask her the stories.
So we get on to some racing news.
Sure, go
Once
ahead.
again, coming up here in just about 20 minutes, our special guest number one, Mr. Russell Soto, will be joining us via the StreamYard satellite. And then coming up after about 10 minutes till 6 tonight, we'll go cross down here to Las Vegas and we'll stop and talk with my good buddy, our good friend, the Professor Billy Mitchell, and see what's cooking in the garage in Shot Talk tonight.
Yeah,
all right?
so get your pens and pencils and your paper and even your video cameras or your phone or something and take a seat because we're going to school.
We're going to school today, and this is great. Dads, moms out there, if you got kids that are racing out there, grab your notebooks, grab your iPads, grab whatever you got to grab because there's going to be some great, valuable information passed along for these two gentlemen out here today. Hey, let's start off with some racing news brought to you by our good friends at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, LVMS.com. Don't forget NASCAR and NHRA are coming back here to Las Vegas in the month of October, the round of 8. And then, of course, Halloween weekend at the Strip, man, where everybody's dressing up. All right.
That's a fun weekend, yeah.
Last results from the bull ring. Let's talk to you. Pro late model stock. They had a double header. The winner on the first one was Danny St. Hours. He picked up the win in the first one. Jeff Peterson won the second round of that pro late model. In the 602 modifieds, it was Doug Ham. He picked up a big win. Bando winner on Friday night with Keatston Holpison. And Saturday night, man, it was Cody Brown picking up into the Bando division. Skid plate cars, Ben Williams picks up the victory for them. The factory stocks, it was Matt Frady Jr. Super stock feature winner was Jason Kaiser. And the junior late models went to Brian Brown. And the bull ring is back in action with a full schedule coming up this Friday and Saturday night. Go to lvms.com to catch out all the information on that one. They'll be racing out there. We're going to get out to the bull ring coming up here.
Oh,
all right.
yeah.
All right. Hey, F1 news. Hey, brought to you. It's really good, man. It looked like Lewis Hamilton finally got his groove back on, but he still couldn't out top Red Bull and Max Verstappen, man. I'm telling you, this guy is on a roll. I mean, a absolute roll. Hamilton picks up the second position, and his teammate George Russell for Team Mercedes, they round out the podium. It's Max Verstappen, and Sergio Perez, Fernando Alonso, Lewis Hamilton, and George Russell round out your top five. Next up for the F1 division, they're in Canada, like you said, Diane, under soggy weather this weekend. Soggy weather. Shall we move on? IndyCar's back in action. And actually, Diane, they're going to a track that I used to go to when I grew up as a kid at Mid-Ohio Motorsports Park.
Oh, nice.
That's where the road course, and right across the street is where the drag strip is at. They've revitalized that. When I was a kid, it used to be known as the NHRA Spring Nationals. And it's good to see that Motorsports Park is back in action.
Wow.
All right.
Good time.
So just to let you know, man, it's going to be 80 laps. It's 180.64 miles around that track. It's 2.258 miles with 13 turns. Got a little bit of everything there, Diane. They've got tight corners. They got swaying corners. They got fast corners. They got up and down elevation. They got things that swing around, man. Going to be a great course right there. I'm telling you.
Sounds exciting.
I'm glad to see Mid-Ohio back out on the schedule, both not only for the IndyCar, but for the NHRA.
Wow.
Alex Below leads Marcus Erickson, Joseph Newgarden, Scott Dixon, and Patty O'Ward as they head into this weekend, man. IndyCar racing is definitely battling up. NHRA last weekend. Now, you remember, Diane, I said they were in Epping, New Hampshire a couple of weeks ago. Well, rain wouldn't go away, so it washed it out, man. So they had a double header at Bristol this weekend.
Oh, okay.
So what they ended up doing was finishing out the New England Nationals. Top Fuel, Justin Ashley picked up the win there. Funny Car, Bob Tasca. There was no pro stock motorcycles, but they had gas eliminator and everything else. Then they moved it on to wrap it up for the Thunder Valley. That's Bristol. That's right, Bristol, baby, the dragway there. And in Top Fuel, it was Justin Ashley. Ron Capps picks up his Funny Car victory. Our lovely lady, Erica Enders, man, 5-6-time pro stock champion. She has been she's been
having a tough time this year.
With Erica this year. She finally picks up her first win, and Steve Johnson gets it for you in pro stock motorcycles. Current, Justin Ashley leads Steve Torrance by 64 points in Top Fuel. Ron Capps leads Matt Hagan by 32. It was Hagan's all the way around until Capps got that victory. So he storms ahead by Matt Hagan, 32 points. Pro stock, Dallas Glenn is just crushing.
He is.
137 points, man. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know if anybody's going to catch it.
He is having a stellar season.
Unbelievable. Gage Herrera, and man, he is just smoking. 216-point lead over Eddie Carlick in Pro Stock Motorcycles. Up next for the NHRA, they're back at Summit Racing and Motorsports Park, Newark, Ohio. That's right outside of Columbus. June 23rd through the 25th out there, Diane. So we'll get some weather updates for them next week and see what's going on. All righty?
Yep.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break real quickly, man. We'll pay a bill or two. When we come back, we'll catch you up with NASCAR. Diane's got some racing news, and we're just about 15 minutes away from our first guest. Russell Soto will join us via satellite. So stick right here with us on Pit Road Racing, live, WCOBM, downtown Las Vegas. Back in 2 minutes, everybody.
Are you ready for the wildest ride on Fremont Street? The Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171 on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. Open 7 days a week, noon until midnight. Strap yourself in, pull your safety belts tight, and feel the power and the speed at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. Downtown Las Vegas, Fremont Street, 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171, right on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. What are you waiting for? Log on, get your tickets now. It's time to go racing at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience, 450 Fremont Street, downtown Las Vegas.
Come on! What the yeah! Oh man! Woo! That is awesome!
The bright lights, the glitz, the glamour. It all means nothing without a shot. A chance to turn dreams into reality. To change your destiny. To make history. Nothing's given. Everything earned. It's more than a race. It's a shot at a championship.
Let's go get a championship, baby!
The NASCAR playoffs return to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the South Point 400. October 13th through 15th.
Oh, yes, we're back with you on Pit Road Racing. Alan Michaels, Diane Fox. We're located at the WCOVM studios, downtown Las Vegas, 450 Fremont Street. Show done each and every Wednesday, 5 to 7 p.m. right here. And, of course, we stream this bad boy across all multiple platforms of social media, WCOVM.tv, and then, of course, Facebook channels, YouTube. We've got a Twitter. We've got it going all the way around. Coming up in just about 14 minutes away, our first guest, Russell Soto, will join us. Young race car driver and engineer, man, and he's got some great, exciting news about Formula One type of racing and electric vehicles, all kind of great stuff. We're going to talk to him. And then coming up, second half of this show today, the Professor Billy Mitchell will join us, Diane. Shop Talk with Billy. So get those notebooks and pads out, ready to go. You got a little racing news. Go ahead and cover that, Diane.
Yeah, NASCAR appreciated Tyler Reddick. This is a good story. Reddick not shedding debris around the Sonoma Raceway when he suffered a flat tire late in Sunday's race, but it still had NASCAR still had to enforce go to the rule book. So, I guess the left front tire on Reddick's 2311 Racing Toyota went down coming off turn 11 with 14 laps to go. It was an inopportune time for the issue as Reddick had already passed pit road and would have had to limp his wounded car back around the almost 2 mile track. Instead, Reddick hooked a right and drove across the island, which is the center section between the straightaway coming to turn 11 and the front stretch. NASCAR penalized Reddick for cutting the course and made him serve a pass-through penalty. But if that's all the penalty it was, okay,
Yeah, but on a 2.5 mile road course, man, cruising down pit lane at about 35, 40 mile an hour, man, you're losing lots of valuable time.
But I mean, I wonder what made him do that. I wonder what made him decide to make that right turn and go down
the article was correct, and what he was trying to do is keep the tire from, getting up underneath the fender well and shredding at the tire, which would have put rubber all over the track, which would have meant a big major cleanup. He just tried to get the car off of the track to prevent that problem. Unfortunately, he cut the course. To do that, it was under a green flag situation. The yellow had not been thrown yet, so the penalty stands.
And I'm sure he knew that there was a penalty coming.
Yeah,
sure he did.
They get going that fast, and your mind's rolling, man, and you're just trying to get the car off the track to keep things going. All right.
Right. Yeah.
Real quickly, we'll get back to Diane in just a minute, man. The Truck Series had the weekend off, for the next couple of weeks, returning to action June 23rd at the Nashville Speedway. It's going to be the next round of the Triple Truck Challenge. That's right. Whether it's in North Carolina, Illinois, or Tennessee, the Truck Challenge gives the opportunity for truck drivers to pick up an additional $50,000 on this bad boy. Race number 1 at the North Carolina Education Lottery 200 back in Charlotte saw Ben Rhodes pick up the 50 grand in his number 99 Thurr Sports Ford. In race number 2 at the Toyota 200 at the Worldwide Technology Raceway out there, it was Grant Enfinger who picked it up for GMS Racing in his number 23 Chevrolet. And so they'll battle it out coming up in Nashville Speedway. One more round, Diane, and they'll get another 50 grand. Currently on the point standings right now, it's Corey Helm, Ty Majeski, Grant Enfinger, Zane Smith, and Ben Rhodes right now, Diane, who leads the points, and they come back to action in Nashville. You got more racing news?
Yeah, there's some speculation that there's some 2024 schedule planning underway. So the update is speculation continues to pick up on changes NASCAR may make to next season's Cup schedule already. So Jordan Bianchi reports that the Bristol Dirt Race will most likely not return in 2024. What? Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Well, one possible scenario for that has the spring race at Bristol being replaced by North Wilkesboro. I mean, they had a great turnout, a great race, but I can tell you that the fans at Bristol are not going to be happy. The dirt race is awesome.
The fans of Bristol are not going to be happy. No. I'm all for this Wilkesboro. I'm still up in arms about this Chicago street race thing.
Exactly.
You know, cars with mufflers on them and this and that and this and that. Come on, get it together. Get out of the street racing. Get them back. Let's get them running at Bristol. Let's get them running at North Wilkesboro. Let's get them running at Rockingham. Let's quit playing around and let's get back to NASCAR, stock car racing, and quit thinking we're trying to do something in here that we... Exactly. We're not a street team. It's not. No. We've got 2 great road courses. Sonoma that we were just at a little bit later on in the year. We'll go to Watkins Glen.
Right. And that's all it should be. So
I'm tired of this.
Okay. So the next update is the planned reconfiguration of the Auto Club Speedway.
Right.
Okay.
From a big track to a short track. Okay.
NASCAR is also considering a return to Canada next year.
So that would probably mean another road course at Jacques Villeneuve Raceway or wherever we're.
So maybe we should get our passports because I think that would be so cool.
NASCAR's going to be going out of town, I guess. So here we go.
And on last thing, I think it's the last thing. Yeah, last thing we got. NASCAR has stated interest in releasing next year's schedules in August.
Okay.
Although September is considered more likely. I mean, everybody's always waiting for September, so the NASCAR schedule comes out. Well, maybe that could help people.
I don't know.
Start planning a little bit, but they've got to come up with a plan. Don't just go, well, we think.
Yeah.
Make it permanent.
Why do you want to put the schedule out if you're not sure about something? You don't know how this whole thing in Chicago is going to pan out.
That's right. You don't.
There was talk at one time about dropping COTA. I don't know if that's going to happen because actually SMI, the parent company that has Charlotte, Las Vegas, Atlanta, such and such, and Bristol.
Right.
Okay. They have said, no, they're invested into that, so it's going to stay there. Okay. So that's the way we got it. But 8 minutes away, we'll be checking in with Russell Soto. I see him right now. He's in the green room. He's got his headset. Russell, we'll be right with you. Hey, Xfinity News, man. Kyle Larson washes out in turn number 11 in the exit, and A.J. Allmendinger passes for second. Larson goes to third. And I'll tell you, man, at the DoorDash 250, it was all the dinger, or Eric Almirola, actually. A.J. Allmendinger picked it up in second spot. Kyle Larson in third. Ty Gibbs and Parker Klingeman round out your top 5, man. Penalized-wise, Xfinity team Richard Childress' number 21 team's got a $5,000 fine against his crew chief, Andy Street. Current right now standings, John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Hill, Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer, Josh Berry round up your top 5. Next up for the Xfinity Series, coming up June 24th, Nashville, Tennessee. At the Speedway, it'll be the Tennessee Lottery 250. All right, so that's what you got coming up for them. And real quickly for the Cup racing, man, after struggling mightily last year at Sonoma, man, it was the number 19 of Martin Truex Jr. who pulled out at man, and he picked up the victory at Sunday's Toyota Save Mart 350, overcoming an unopportune caution leading to a race high 51 of 110 laps. Truex scored his second victory of the season. He's locked in for the chase this year. So a great run for him. Kyle Busch Everybody says, what Kyle Busch going to do? I'm telling you, Childers and his crew chief have got Kyle Busch hooked up. Look out, a third championship could be coming.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, it was a good race.
It was.
It was a really good race.
Top 5 for you. Sonoma, of course, it was Truex, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Chris Buescher, Chase Elliott. Right now, the current standings, Martin Truex Jr. is up on top, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Chastain, and the bad dog in the count, Kevin Harvick. Next up for the Cup Series, Sunday, June 25th, the Alley 400. There you go. All right, we got all that taken care of. Let's throw all that other. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going live. Our first special guest, Mr. Russell Soto, is standing by. So let's do a quick break, Diane. We're coming back and we'll join Russell. You're watching On Pit Road Racing from the WCOBM. Back in 2 minutes, everybody.
Welcome to my world. Handicap man down at a charity feed. Great spread this morning. God, it was horrible. But it made what I needed to happen. Then I had these people that stopped and said, "Hey, you want some shoes?" I said, "Yeah, I was going to need to get some anyway. So might as well." And if it really comes to fruition, help them buy more shoes so that we can help more people. Well, I'm not but you know what I mean. Hell, might as well. There's nothing wrong with helping someone. You know, it makes for good karma or good energy, whatever it takes. Hell, I ought to do a product placement for Coca-Cola too.
The bright lights, the glitz, the glamour. It all means nothing without a shot. A chance to turn dreams into reality. To change your destiny. To make history. Nothing's given. Everything earned. It's more than a race. It's a shot at a championship.
Let's go get a championship, baby!
The NASCAR playoffs return to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the South Point 400. October 13th through 15th.
Studios. Well, looking good out there today for you, and each and every Wednesday right here. And of course, after the show's all done, we'll clean it up and we'll put it up on our YouTube accounts. We'll get everything ready to roll for you so that you can share it with your friends. And I got to bring him into the picture right there. He is. Hi, Russell. How you doing today, sir?
Doing great, and thank you for having me on Pit Road Racing. It's an honor to be here.
Well, I want to tell you something, Russell. When we posted that you were coming on right now, I mean, there were 10,000 people from your LinkedIn and everything around there that are waiting to see you right now. So, first of all, welcome to the show, man. And it's a great pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm very excited. I've been watching some of the streams so far today, and it's been really entertaining, really cool to keep up with racing. You know me, I've been passionate about motorsports since I've been 8 years old. And I've been involved in karting, doing various types of road racing for as long as I could. However, never had the budget with, how financial motorsport can get to really afford my own racing career. But now I've been struck with an opportunity with a Porsche team called PT Autosport. And they're doing this thing called the Aspiring Driver Shootout with a $100,000 prize on the line towards racing. So right now I'm on round 2. I'm advancing in the competition. And if I'm selected as a finalist, I'll be coming down to New Jersey Motorsports Park on August 12th to compete for that shootout.
So where are you at right now?
So right now I'm actually in Michigan.
Okay.
I grew up in New Jersey. I've been doing the road racing and karting scene over there up until I became hired as a vehicle performance engineer at Stellantis. And so that's the reason I actually moved to Michigan, made that transition, but still keeping up in road racing. I'm around many road racing courses
Right.
around here, including Mid Ohio Sports Car Course, as well as Grattan and Gingerman Raceway.
Wow. Well, you've answered quite a few of my questions already, but let's just start with this. When you were a kid growing up, what did you want to do? What did you know when people ask you, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? You're growing up. So what was it that you wanted to do as a kid?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when you're a kid, you have these crazy dreams, right? Some kids say they want to be an
Hmm.
astronaut. Some kids want to say they want to be a rock star. My answer was a race
Right.
car driver, and it still is. I've never given up on that
Wow.
dream. I'm still fighting for it, and there's nothing that's going to get in my way. I'm one of the hardest workers in the room, and I have a goal that I'm going to reach for. So,
Wow. So who did you look up to as a kid to make your dream come true?
absolutely. Lewis Hamilton was someone who was a big inspiration for me. Seven-time Formula One world champion, someone that didn't really come from a very strong financial background. And as someone who is also a diverse person coming from a non-affluent community, with not the highest budget in the world, he was someone that I could relate to, a hard worker as well, and someone that I feel very inspired by.
Russell, let me ask you this. Do you think Lewis Hamilton will stay with Mercedes after this year? Because there's a lot of talk going on right now that he's not happy with Mercedes. Mercedes is not happy with him. And the two big names that we're hearing, Ferrari, but also Aston Martin, too, as I've heard, has reached out to Lewis. What is your thoughts about Lewis? Will he stay? Will he go? What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, Lewis right now is in the crossroads. Back in 2007, when he started in McLaren, he was at a high, just as he is now with Mercedes. However, things are starting to change, and it hasn't been the first time that Lewis actually moved away from a team that seemed to be dominant it's not the first time he's taken that risk. I think that Lewis has the ability to move if he chooses to. However, it's going to take a lot of budget for a team to afford Lewis Hamilton. I mean, now that he has all that huge of a resume and all those championships behind him, it's very costly for a team to afford him. Now, whether or not he will make the move, a lot of people are saying Ferrari, a lot of people are saying Aston Martin, like you say. However, I don't think that he'll make the move. Right now, Ferrari has a strong lineup with Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, and
Yeah.
Aston Martin right now, well, I feel that Lance Stroll will probably be pretty safe in his seat considering Lawrence
Yeah.
is there. And Fernando's killing it right now. Fernando is showing that age is just a number, which is also big inspiration for me.
What do you think about the F1 event coming to Las Vegas here?
Oh, that's going to be amazing. I think it's great that Formula One is finally becoming bigger in the United States. Growing up when I was a kid, I loved Formula One, but no one else at school knew what I was talking about. Now with the Drive to Survive series, and now with the more races that we have in the calendar year, it's awesome to see more fans and more people understand the sport that I partake in.
Right. You founded the SBS Grand Prix esports racing team. Can you tell people a little bit about what that is?
Absolutely. So that was a sim racing team that I started for a Formula 3 league that I actually still run every Thursday night on Team Goon Squad Racing on YouTube. I've won 2 of the previous championships throughout the, I believe, 7 seasons that it's run so far. Very competitive league, and I'm very happy to shout them out because a great group of guys that runs the league. So.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It is.
That is really cool.
So would if I were to ask you your goal in lifetime, if you could do it, would be traveling to Europe and working or driving for an F1 team? Would that be something that's your bucket list, that's your top shot on the goals?
Absolutely. I mean, Formula One ever since I was a child has been my dream. Whether or not it be as a driver or an engineer, I'd love to be on the grid. However, with the way that Formula One is run right now, I think that shooting for Le Mans is more of an attainable goal for me. Right now, I'd probably say that I'm looking towards a career in endurance racing.
Oh,
Winning the 24-hour Le Mans,
okay.
participating in the 6 hours or 12 hours of Bathurst, Sebring, seeing myself at the top step of that podium is where I want to be in the future.
Wow. I mean, I really hope in our lifetime we get to see you do that. I mean, that would.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Now you went to Rutgers. You went to Rutgers, right? And now I got to ask you about this. You formed a racing team with a college first. Was this the first that this was ever done, Russell?
No, absolutely. So at Rutgers University, we have Formula SAE, which is a engineering competition where a group of engineers essentially build a formula racing car from the ground up. It's a small open wheel race car that we design, fabricate, and engineer all the technicalities of the car and then compete with it with other students every year. We have a new set of rules and regulations, just like Formula One does, that we have to listen
Right.
to. But of course, we try to maximize that as engineers. And so it's a huge engineering challenge that takes a lot of hard work, especially when you're an engineering student, which is also a very rigorous curriculum. Making the time towards doing that is very
Right.
tough. I had a great experience doing that. I got to learn a lot about what motorsport engineering is. And as a driver, it educated myself as well because having that engineering background really helps when you're working with a racing team, when you're working with other engineers. And
Right.
of course, being a driver as well, having that experience of knowing what it's like to be in the cockpit helps when you're an engineer designing the car. You already know what you're looking for. And so I was able to apply that when I was in Formula SAE,
Right.
and a lot of what I learned helped
Yeah.
me as a driver.
How long did it take you guys to do that?
The entire school year. Luckily, we had a
Wow.
few resources from the previous team, and every year we can kind of utilize or be resourceful about what we have from the previous years. However, with the new regulations that come out, and with my last year being the first time we were trying to shoot for an EV race car, electric race car, things were a challenge. Things were hard, and battling
Right.
COVID as well while doing that competition was another struggle.
Oh,
So.
yeah.
Now I
Oh,
saw
wow.
on your resume and your bio thinking that you guys are going to turn loose sometime here this month. Are you guys actually putting out the first electric vehicle racing formula style car? Has it happened yet? I guess because I was reading down and it says that's what you guys had planned for June of 2023. So are we still on target or has it come out?
Absolutely. I mean, I graduated Rutgers, but I'm very happy to shout these guys out because they're hard workers. They're actually in Michigan International this weekend competing in the Formula SAE competition with their car, with their EV race car. And I'm so proud of them.
Wow.
You know, as an alumni from Rutgers University, always happy to shout them out. So great job, Scarlet Knights.
I have one
Wow.
question. A gentleman named Pete from New Jersey logged on. It says, Russell, did you come from a family and background such as, are you a generation racer? Did your father, grandfather, anybody in your family was involved? That's a question on our question comment right there.
Thank you for the question, Pete. And it's always good to see someone else from New Jersey. No, actually, I am not a generational racer. I'm the first of my generation. My family history and background has not been one that's been rich financially.
Right.
However, I've always been a fan of motorsport, always been a fan of Formula One. My dad started watching around the time of Schumacher and Prost Senna. So naturally, it was something that kind of just came onto me. And when I was introduced to it, when I stepped into a go-kart for the first time, I knew this is what I wanted to do. So I am
Wow.
ambitious in
What? So
seeking out
what
a
did?
goal that my family hasn't done. And with enough luck, Soto will become a racing name.
Oh, I hope so. So what what does your family think about what you're doing?
Oh, my dad loves it. My dad is a motorsport fan,
Good.
and
Yeah.
he's been someone who's been an inspiration to me because he's been a huge supporter of mine. He's never gave up on me, neither has my mother for that matter either. My mother has also been
Wow. That
helping
is
me
so
out and,
cool.
and
Have you
pushing
ever
and yes.
been to an F1 event?
Absolutely, yes. I went to the Canadian
Yeah.
Grand Prix in 2016, and that
There.
was amazing. Yes, I love that
Wow.
race because the whole town gets super fun. Um, they celebrate the race that's there. However, seeing Formula One cars for the first time in person, you have an idea of how fast they are, especially for
Yeah.
me having driven some race cars, but the way that they brake and stop on a dime is just like anything else. It's nothing else. It's amazing.
Yeah. I've never been to an F1 event. So this November I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see
I
it.
actually got to go to the F1 twice when it came back to the United States, Russell, and it was in Indianapolis. First year, Michael Schumacher lapped the entire field twice.
Nice.
Twice. That's how good he was, man. I mean, it was just unbelievable to do that. So, well, listen, we're running down towards the end of the time here. Wait, Diane, you got another question? Go ahead, Diane.
I do, and the reason this has nothing to do with racing, but I was looking at your bio and your resume and all that. You did some theater in college, right?
I did, yeah.
You were in the theater version of Scream.
Yes. So I was
Are we
actually in a
talking
club.
a horror movie?
Oh no, no.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was
Oh,
actually in a club called Scream Theater, and essentially this was just an improv theater club. It
Okay.
definitely helped my public speaking, helped me broaden my skills and my horizons. Yes, motorsport is my life, and it's my lifelong passion. However, having other hobbies as well helps in diversifying my personality. Makes me different than all the other race car drivers that are out there. So
What are some of your other hobbies?
I love to play guitar. I love to play volleyball as well. I love that volleyball helps with the hand-eye coordination as well. That's necessary for a race car driver. Going to the gym as well is another huge hobby of mine, particularly shadow boxing and boxing. I find that boxing exercises are very beneficial for racing because that hand-eye coordination, the reflex, reaction timing, all very key and beneficial. So
Wow.
so yeah, even though I have other hobbies, motorsport is usually the theme of them. I still find
So
a
where
way
do
to
you see
correlate.
yourself in? Where do you see yourself? Right. Where do you see yourself in about 5 years?
In 5
Or
years,
where
I
would
see
you like to
myself.
see yourself in about?
Well, assuming everything goes well with the PT Autosport Aspiring Driver Shootout, I'd love to begin my professional career, and in 5 years, I'd love to be racing in the WEC World Endurance Championship, competing in Le Mans, competing in all the endurance races, the big time, all around the globe.
Wow.
Monaco, man. You got to have it on the bucket list. Monaco's got to be some.
Absolutely.
There's 3 tracks that we want to get to. We want to go to Monaco. We want to go to where in Knoxville, Iowa, where the World of Outlaws Nationals are at, and then you got to hit that. You got to hit the Chili Bowl down in Tulsa, man, for winter racing inside. I mean, those are some great tracks right there.
Wow. Yep.
Is there anything else? I mean, are you into IndyCar? Do you like NHRA? Are you a NASCAR fan? Do you do any sprint car stuff?
I'm absolutely an IndyCar fan. I was at the Detroit Grand Prix. I'd love to shout out my friends that were competing at that weekend. Stephen McAleer, who was in IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge, Josh Green, who was in Indy Next, and Thomas Annunziata, who was racing the Trans Am Series. They all did a great job that weekend. And thank you for having me in the paddock. It was an absolute bless.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, we hope that you'll come out, man. I don't know if you got any tickets. I mean, that's one thing people are screaming for us. You got tickets, you got tickets. I'm like, you got to log on. I mean, we were lucky to get media for this thing. But if you decide to come out here, please look us up because we'd love to have you hang out, man. We'll go hang out and have a burger or beer, a glass of wine, a soda, or whatever you like to do. And we'll catch some racing with you. And if you're here, man, and they're running, we'd love to take you out to see the big track, the NASCAR track, and our local track out here. We got a couple of good road courses out around here, too. So, hey, before we let you go, man, I want to give you an opportunity to give shout outs to your friends, sponsors, anybody, social media where they can find you, Russell. Last minute's all yours, my friend.
Thank you so much. I would like to first shout out the PT Autosport Aspiring Driver Shootout. It's an opportunity, particularly for aspiring drivers such as myself, to finally get the chance that they've been waiting for to achieve their lifelong dream. PT Autosport is a team that's giving opportunities to not only drivers, but engineers from diverse backgrounds, financial backgrounds, and ethnic backgrounds. I'd also love to give a shout out to my family, my mom and dad, for helping me out and supporting my racing. All my friends and family who have been an amazing support, particularly throughout my shootout process, giving me support on social media. Lastly, I'd love to, of course, promote myself. On Instagram, you can follow me on @RussellTSoto. So that's RussellTSoto. And follow my racing as well on my website, www.russellsotoracing.com. Thank you so much for having me on Pit Road Racing. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, man, what a great guest you are. Certainly. I've looked this guy up, follow him. I see some bright stuff, man. Maybe not inside the cockpit, but I have a feeling one day I'm going to be watching the television, and when they take a shot at the paddock era back in race control, I have a feeling you're going to be one of those guys that's going to be sitting at the computer making those adjustments. If you're not in that car wheeling it, you're going to be the guy that's going to make the adjustments. What do you think, Diane?
I totally agree with you.
There you go. Russell, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day, man. Enjoy the race weekend. What F1's F1's in Canada this weekend again, man. I don't know if you're planning on heading up there, but that, and then of course IndyCar's back. Mid-Ohio is an old stomping ground of mine. I used to go up there, and then of course right across the street was the drag strip where Spring Nationals were at. So great facility there. It's good to see those guys get that all back together. Russell Soto, our special guest, man. Thank you so much. Have yourself a great evening, and thanks for joining us on Pit Road Racing.
Thank you, Russell. And please help us keep up with you. If any other exciting news comes your way, please let us know. We'll have you on again so you can let everybody know what's going on.
Sounds perfect. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
Thanks, Russell. Pleasure. Hey, listen, we're going to take a quick break. Coming back, and the Professor Billy Mitchell is in the shop, and we'll talk to him right after this. Thanks, Russell. Have a good one, buddy.
Are you ready for the wildest ride on Fremont Street? The Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171 on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. Open 7 days a week, noon until midnight. Strap yourself in, pull your safety belts tight, and feel the power and the speed at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. Downtown Las Vegas. Fremont Street, 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171, right on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. What are you waiting for? Log on, get your tickets now. It's time to go racing at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience, 450 Fremont Street, downtown Las Vegas.
The bright lights, the glitz, the glamour. It all means nothing without a shot. A chance to turn dreams into reality, to change your destiny, to make history. Nothing's given, everything earned. It's more than a race. It's a shot at a championship.
Let's go get a championship, baby!
The NASCAR playoffs return to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the South Point 400, October 13th through 15th.
Oh, just take a little rock and roll for you. My buddy Billy Mitchell out there, the Professor's in the shop. He's got it on. Billy, you couldn't have said it any better than what you said it. It's just a royal ass kicking last night, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Can everybody hear me good?
We got you, Billy.
We got you.
All right, very good. So, good morning, America. How about those Knights, huh? Go Knights, go. They kicked some ass last night.
They did, didn't they?
Oh, there we go. There he is. We can see him right there. Ladies and gentlemen, a real good partner of this program. We've known him for almost 12 years. He has a degree in engineering, just like our first guest. Billy, I don't know if you caught, but boy, that guy is on his team. Russell Soto, man, developing Formula One cars, racing for Rutgers University, man. That's it. Anyhow, Billy is in, and he's in the shop, and it's time for Shop Talk, so we're going to shut up, and we're going to let you all get your notepads, get your paper, get your pencils out, get your iPads ready to go, because it's time for Shop Talk with the Professor Billy Mitchell. Billy, take it away, my friend.
All right. Good morning, America. Here we are. We're here in the garage here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm so excited. My Knights kicked some butt last night. They are now world champions. I got the Stanley Cup. I got my gear on. If anybody knows me, you know I am 100% Knights fan. So here we go. So today, what are we going to learn? We are going to learn how to do front end geometry. This is number 102. We're going to talk about bump steer. Okay, so what is bump steer? Let's think about this for a second. If this is the front of the car, this is the left front tire. As the car goes through its dynamics, when it goes from static height, which is like typically 4 inches, okay, on most cars, all the way down to 1 inch, like we talked about that in the previous show, your wheels We need those wheels to stay parallel to each other, okay? So in other words, we don't want a wheel turning in and out and towing and all kinds of crazy stuff going on as soon as we go in the corner and hit the brakes and all that weight goes to the front. So how do you fix this, okay? So on a super late model, super easy because you got a rack and pinion steering. You can buy little slot ends on the end of the rack so you can move it up and down, super easy. Just loose it up and tap it up and down. We're going to talk about why you do that here in a second. On the modifieds, okay, or on a conventional or stock style clip, it's a little harder because you have a drag link and you got a pitman arm and you have an idler arm. Now, there are companies that are out there that make different aftermarket stuff so you can move these pivot points, okay, like Howe and Speedway. They all make some different stuff. It's kind of expensive, but if your rules don't allow that, you got to do what I used to do when I couldn't afford it. I would take and heat the thing up, get it cherry hot, and I would tilt it. I would have to manually move these pivot points. So let's get started. What are we talking about? Why do we got to move the pivot points? So let's go over here to the whiteboard. So if you have, I'll use a wrench to point at it, okay? So you have, this is a left front tire. If you're looking at it from the front, you have your upper A-arm here in red. You have your lower A-arm here in blue. And then you have your tie rod, which is in green, okay? So what do we want to do? If we could draw an imaginary line off of all these pivot points, where they intersect is called instant center. Okay, so we want everything to line up in instant center, and we want our tie rod to line up with our inner or frame pivot points. Okay, so how do we do that? Okay, this is the challenge. It's not really that hard. You guys can do this. Okay, some things at prep work that I did. Remember I talked about when you lower the car down and you put it at 1 inch and you go through and you put your strut rods on there to simulate everything at 1 inch. Well, this is where it comes in handy. I still have the springs out. I have the sway bar unhooked. The last thing you want to do is you want to take and turn the wheel after you've got your toes set at 1 inch. You are going to turn your wheel just slightly to the left. And the reason why you're going to do that is because where the bump is really critical is where you make your initial cut towards the apex of the corner, okay? So you want to simulate that. And how I do that is I turn the wheel a little bit, then I take a couple vice grips or adjustable clamp-on wrenches, whatever you want to call them, right? So you clamp on there so that won't move. You want everything to stay steady with your steering, okay? Because we're talking thousandths of an inch here will affect your toe 3/16 an eighth of an inch of toe in or toe out, okay? So for this purpose, we're going to keep it super simple. If you move the inner pivot point, which is this pivot point right here on the tie rod, up and down, it is drastic. So if you move it an eighth of an inch, quarter of an inch, it has huge effects on this bump steer. And if you change the outside, so it's just about half of that. So what I typically do is I'll mess with the inner pivot point first. That's on this car has a drag link, and I'll use the pitman arm or the height of the drag link to actually move everything up and down. Okay, so once we've done that, once we get it close, now how do we know if it's right? Well, I made this little gauge here. You can buy these. Everybody makes different versions of this. What I did is bought this plate, I think from Port City back in the day. I've had this thing about 20 years. Okay, and I got it for a 5-on-5, which is my lug pattern. You take the wheel off, you bolt it on. It's nice and flat. Okay, it's a nice machined piece of aluminum. Then I took and made my own gauge here. A lot of them will have just a roller on one side and a dial indicator on the other. Well, I put dial indicators on both sides, and I'll explain to that why later when we start talking about Ackerman, but we're not going to talk about that today. So how do we check this? Okay, so I've already had these up here. I've set everything out. I've leveled everything out using our handy little digital smart gauge. You can use a manual one. You don't have to use this fancy digital stuff. I just found out it's easier because I'm getting old and I can't see the damn thing, okay? So digital gauges are a lot easier to use. Once you get it set, you are going to go over here and you're going to measure, okay? We're set at 29. We have our mark. We had it 30. Let's double check on this side. So we're going to go up to 30 inches. with the jack. So we are simulating right now the car going down to dynamic height or 1 inch underneath the cross member. Okay, so there it is. It's 30 inches. We're going to zero everything out. Zero there, zero there. We want to make sure we got enough travel on our little dial indicators. We're good to go. Now we're going to actually lower the car down, okay? So we're going to lower the suspension, which is simulating raising the car. And we can only go about 2 inches because our dial indicators only allow us to, okay? So we got about 28 inches there. So now we're looking at how much movement we got. On this one, we got 740. On this one, we got about 700. So we got about 40 thousandths. And right now, when the car goes up, now a lot easier. Let's do this a little easier for you guys, okay? Now that we got the car at ride height, that static height, let's zero this stuff back up. And this is where it gets its name bump steer, right? So now we're going to bump the suspension. We're going to do it again. Okay, everything looks good. We know we got enough travel. Now we're going to go from 28 to 30 here. We're going to jack it up or bump it, right, is what we talk about, bump steer. There we go. And now we're going to read them again. It's the same numbers, basically. It's 40 thousandths, and it's bigger on the back than it is the front. So what does that mean? Okay, so what that means is we are towing out 40 thousandths of an inch. Okay, so ideally we want it to be zero, because if you have everything in alignment here, just like on instant center, as everything goes up and down, you will get zero. Okay, some guys will do a little bit of tow out to get a little bit of steer on the left front. Some guys will turn the right front to the wall. That's supposed to make the car a little more stable. Guys have tried it all different ways. Just set it at zero. And the reason why I'm saying this is so that you can check your tow at any height. If you have everything set and nothing's damaged, you can set your tow at 4 inches. You can set it at 1 inch. It should never change if your geometry is correct unless something's bent. So if it's changing on you after you set everything, you know something's bent. One of your pivot points is out of whack, or you got a loose tie rod, whatever it is. So how are we going to change it? So if right now we're towed out, which means that this arm right now is too level. So we need to increase this pivot point down. So on this car, I would take and adjust the drag length down a little bit, and then I go through and do it again. Once I get it close, what you can do is this is the 5/8 bolt that's on the spindle over here, and you can actually adjust or add or take away angle by putting these little shims in here. They sell these shims. You can get them from any of the suppliers. They got them different thicknesses. Hopefully you guys can see it. Here, I'll get up closer. Okay, and another thing, a little hint for you guys, you can take and cut the bolt off. This is very important, especially on like a super late model with a 10-inch tire. A lot of times it's so close and that sidewall is flexing so much that you would not believe. You'll come in and you'll see rubber on this little bolt. So if you shave the head of the bolt down a little bit, it'll give you a little more clearance and you're not going to puncture an inside sidewall. Okay, so that's the basics on how to do this. What I'm going to do on Friday, I'm going to have a little bit more help. I'm going to go through the whole setup process. I'm going to go through on how to do this step by step and how to adjust things step by step. So we would want, on this one, we're a little level. We're already maxed out here. Okay, we're all the way up against the spindle. So we have to move it on the inner tie rod. And then typically I'll go a little bit over because I want a little bit of a shim on the outside so that we make sure our hind joint doesn't bind up. So when that's all done, you go back through, you can adjust your tie rods back to zero, okay, wherever you're zero, either at bump or at static height. And then you can go through, lock everything down, check it again, go up and down, and you're going to do the same thing for the right side of the car. Very important. You do this after you've set up everything on your car. Everything. Remember I told you in the last 101, okay, you want to go through, set up your caster, your camber, everything at 1 inch. I set everything up at 1 inch. My neighbors are waving at me, so I got to wave at them. Okay, so let's go. That's what you want to do. You want to make sure all of your tie rods, your ball joints, everything's good to go. And in the next episode, Mike, what I'm thinking, and maybe we can get some input from the listeners, is we can go ahead and And I'm going to show you on the computer how I map out all these pivot points here. And we're going to talk more about roll centers, and we're going to talk more about jacking forces, stuff like that, so that you can custom and get your car and how it affects whether you have aluminum heads, whether you have steel heads, depending on where your moment or your center of gravity is in the front of the car. It's going to dictate where you want your roll center, how high, how far to the left, and what kind of tire. Because if you got a hard ass tire, you're going to have to put some heat in that right front tire to piss it off to get it to grab. Okay.
Right.
So with all that said, hey, Mike, do you got any questions, you or Diane?
We certainly do. We have a couple on the comments here, Billy. First question coming from Rick. Wanted to know any special tools. Is this just, I guess Billy, I'm not a mechanic or an engineer. I'm a broadcaster. So the question was, any special tools to do this? And are the same tools that you use on a modified the same on a super late model? Two-part question, Billy.
Yeah, some of the tools are the same, obviously. On the modified, when you're adjusting this bolt right here, you know, for your shims, that's a 15/16. That's the same as what it is on a late model. The inner pivot point is like I think an 11/16 on a super late model. When you move the pivot points on this one, you're going to need a little bit more. It's kind of hard to see right now. On Friday, I'll get up under the car and show you guys the pieces, the aftermarket drag length, and the adjustability that we have with the aftermarket parts versus the stock parts. And then if you can't have that because your rules don't allow it, then you're going to need a torch. You're going to have to heat it up, and you're going to have to stick it in a vise and bend it a little bit, or, you know, either way. So the other thing you're going to need, okay, is, you know, the smart level right here. Okay, that's to make sure everything's nice, square, and level. You're going to need some type of a plate, depending if you're a wide 5 or a 5-on-5, so that you have a nice flat plane as it's going up and down. And then you're going to have a way to hold your dial indicator. So I made this little thing about 20 years ago, painted it John Deere green because I was living in Iowa at the time. Shout out to Iowa. John Deere's out of Iowa. So I painted it John Deere green. It's adjustable up and down. It's got feet on it. It's nice and sturdy. The whole thing here is you want everything to be secure and level so it doesn't move. And then that's going to allow you to move the suspension up and down with your jack. You can use a bottle jack or a floor jack, doesn't matter. Got the car up on jack stands. Again, prep work. You got to set up your strut rods for 1 inch, which we talked about in the last show, so that you have everything to simulate going up and down. So I hope that answers your question, Rick. If I didn't, please, maybe I can articulate a little bit more. Just let me know what you need.
Couple of other comments coming in, man. A gentleman wrote in, didn't leave his name, said, man, if I was racing, I would want this guy working on my chassis. So apparently he knows what he's saying. You know what you're doing and you know what you're talking about. That's a good comment, Billy. He said the man said if he was still in the motorsports and he needed chassis work, he'd be following every single direction that you just gave, buddy.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. You know, I do this right now. You know, I'm not out to make any money on this. I love this sport. Very passionate. You'll notice there's not a motor in here. We have had motor issues this year. Big surprises coming. So we'll talk a little bit about more in a later show. We got a new motor program coming on board that hopefully is a little more reliable and is in line with the Tour Series that we're going to run the car in the late part of the season. So thank you very much. I appreciate your comment. And, you know, it's not magic, guys. You know, when you go out and your car's not turning, or, you know, we're in the corners 2/3 of the time, right? And out at the bull ring out here, we're turning about 15.5, 15.2 seconds. So if you can pick up a 10th at either end of the corner, it's huge, okay? And you know how it is, Mike, and racing. Anytime you go out there and you're doing well, first thing everybody accuses you of cheating, right? Well, it's not cheating. It's just coming out here doing the time. Don't use your credit card. What's that?
I said everybody's always cheating, man. Always cheating. They're always cheating. They say they're cheating down here at the go-kart track. How can you cheat at the go-kart track unless you run through the barrier? I don't know, you know. Billy Mitchell, Professor, man, he is the man with the plan. He is that, and he appears with us a couple of times each month. And of course, his all right, I've got that now. I got it. Now I know you're a sports fan, and we're gonna dip. We're down to the last couple minutes of the broadcast, and I am so happy. The Las Vegas Aces homegrown team championship. Las Vegas Golden, or I
Yeah.
should say the Vegas Golden Knights. They don't like to be called the Las Vegas, the Vegas Golden Knights, homegrown team championship. Now, your opinion. Hey, is this baseball deal a good deal or not?
I don't know. You got it from a fan's point of view. Living here in Vegas, I think it's a shitty deal. I think they need to put some kind of competition clause in their contract to where they got to win so many games to get our tax money for this new stadium they're talking about.
Right.
From an economic point of view, it's going to bring a ton of people here. We already see it with the Raiders. We've already seen it with the Knights. When the away teams come here, usually their fans come too. So it's a great way to bring in people here and bring in money into the town. But from somebody who lives here and somebody who likes going to the games like I do, I don't want to go watch some loser team with the lowest payroll in their series, i.e. the Raiders. Okay, so I don't even bother. I don't even want to mess with it.
He's in on that, and I read the vote today, and I'll leave it now. It looks like the Senate passed this thing, but it ain't got no farther than that, and they're trying to dip this thing in. And I've also heard rumors are flying that the Tropicana location is out the door, that they want this thing moved over towards the original land purchase of where the old Wild Wild West went. So that's what I've heard about this, but I mean, you'll just have to wait and see. All I can say is that racing in this town is big. It brings big money. And mark my word, Professor, when the numbers clear after F1 leaves, I'm betting you over $1 billion in non-gaming. And that's some money. That is some money for this town.
Yeah, they've already done the projections and the forecast. I ran for office, and I'm still involved in all that as far as the Clark County goes. And they're saying it's going to be even make more money than Monaco. Right now, currently, Monaco makes the most amount of money on their circuit. Vegas is going to be huge. I mean, it's going to be, they've already signed a huge contract. They're already building the paddock. There's a huge investment going on. They're using a lot of tax dollars for streets and all that kind of stuff. I'm excited. I mean, I love Formula One. Anytime I can go play around with the latest and greatest technology, I'm an engineer, so I love to see it, and I just can't wait to put my hands on it if I can.
Yeah, it is something. It's really, and I'll wrap it up. But here's the thing that I wanted to point out: if this deal goes through, 30,000 seats, they have to sell every seat. No, now here, taxpayers, listen to us. Every seat, 30,000 seats, no comp, have to be sold out every game for 10 years to make the money back. And I just don't see the A's doing it.
I would like for them to do an expansion team. I'm not a big fan of the owners with the A's. Everything that I've looked at, from them from a business point of view, not a big fan, guys. I mean, it's in front of the assembly. I was watching the meeting earlier before, I lined up for this deal. And, they want money. I mean, it's all business, right? So, we went through this, at other stadiums, and I don't know how they're going to do it, especially with an open stadium when it's 100 and some degrees outside. I mean, we're going to have some kind of an indoor stadium.
Yeah, I agree. Exactly, yeah. But that's it. Racing's back in action. You running at the Bull Ring this weekend?
Nope, I got a problem unless, somebody wants to give me a motor to stick in the hot rod here. So I'm supposed to pick up a motor. Supposed to go down Saturday morning and pick up a motor out of town, and hopefully that motor program be a little different. We've just been pushing everything to the limit with these 23-degree motors, and I'm not a big fan of the crate motor program, especially since they're not really policing it that well. So I'd rather build an LS program, and I think that's what we're doing right now. We're putting something together for that with the restrictor plates, and we think that you don't have to do as much to the motor to get the power we need. So they'll be more reliable, and it'd be a better program all the way around.
There he is, man, the Professor Billy Mitchell right here. He is our correspondent that taking all the tech news and everything else, man. And we always enjoy him. Billy, congratulations. Good season coming up for you. Congratulations. Got to be the #1 Vegas Golden Knight fan that I know of, man. And I know you had to, between you and Brian Feldman, who does Out of Line Sports Talk, good friend of ours, and Brian's all into this too. Between the two of you, I don't know. I don't even think a coin toss would even come close to see which one of you like them's the best. But one hell of a good shot for our Vegas grown team, man. And Billy Mitchell right there, our shop talk specialist. Billy, thanks. Before I let you go, tell everybody where they can find you at, your YouTube channels, on all the other things that you got going on, buddy.
Yeah, very well. So if you go to Race Professor 21 on YouTube, there's several videos that'll bring you up to speed in everything that we're doing. I'm trying to go down the order like I would set up a car from scratch. I'm even going to get into maybe some motor stuff. I'm going to get into some fabrication stuff. You can find me, Billy Mitchell, on Facebook, of course, and Instagram, same company, right? And then, of course, Twitter. You can find me there. You're going to see a lot of political stuff on Twitter because I am very involved with what's going on in our community, and I did run for office, and I plan on staying involved probably for a long time. So I thank everybody for their support. Mike, Diane, you guys are doing a great job. This thing is gaining momentum. I see it going very far. I think it's just a matter of time. This seems to be the wave of the future, these podcasts and these little videos that you guys are doing. So good luck, and I hope everything works out very well.
Hey, Billy, just to let you know, besides our local people that we bring along on this, we received great news from the Atlanta Motorsports Park as one of our official brand new partners of this program. Billy, in fact, I showed Gene this, and we got to get down to Dawsonville, Georgia. If you haven't seen this place, Billy, look it up because it is one hot looking track. They got condos there. They say it's the country club of motorsports, man. Atlanta Motorsports Park. Welcome those guys. The Professor Billy Mitchell, thank you so much, buddy.
Thank you, guys, and God bless America.
God bless America. Billy will be back with us. We're going to take one quick break. We're back to wrap it up on Pit Road Racing, live at the WCOBM. Diane Fox, Alan Michaels, back right after this, everybody.
The bright lights, the glitz, the glamour. It all means nothing without a shot. A chance to turn dreams into reality. To change your destiny. To make history. Nothing's given. Everything earned. It's more than a race. It's a shot at a championship.
Let's go get a championship, baby!
The NASCAR playoffs return to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the South Point 400, October 13th through 15th.
Come on! What the yeah! Oh, man! Woo! That is awesome!
Are you ready for the wildest ride on Fremont Street? The Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171 on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. Open 7 days a week, noon until midnight. Strap yourself in, pull your safety belts tight, and feel the power and the speed at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. Downtown Las Vegas, Fremont Street, 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171, right on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. What are you waiting for? Log on, get your tickets now. It's time to go racing at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience, 450 Fremont Street, downtown Las Vegas.
Welcome to my world. Handicapped man down at a charity feed. Great spread this morning. God, it was horrible. But it made what I needed to happen. Then I had these people that stopped and said, "Hey, you want some shoes?" I said, "Yeah, I was going to need to get some anyway." So might as well. And if it really comes to fruition, help them buy more shoes so that we can help more people. I'm not we, but you know what I mean. Hell, might as well. There's nothing wrong with helping someone. You know, it makes for good karma or good energy, whatever it takes.
back with you? What do you think, Diane? Pretty good show today, man. I mean, you could not beat those two guys right there. You had a little news school with Russell Soto, Billy Mitchell joining the fun right there, getting everybody caught up, man. And we always appreciate Billy stopping in, man. Always when we got Billy, keep your pens or pencils and everything to write with because he's giving out some good stuff and learn along the way, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. The race, you're into it. They're racing the go-karts now, huh?
Well, there's a little one on there.
You got a little guy out there racing around today. Yeah, they're doing it. Gene Woods Racing Experience, 450 Fremont Street, right next door to where we are at here at the WCOBM, and of course the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame. And Diane, if you will, why don't you grab one of those shoes, and if you will put those up in the camera and spin it around so they can see the logo. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like to show you here right now is something that is near and dear to our heart. Okay, it's really easy. This program. It works right here with the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame. This is a nonprofit, okay? It has reached its status right here, and then what Diane has is called the Heart Shoes, right, Diane? That's right. What these are. Let me turn you. Yeah, we got you on. So we got you doing that, and here it is. So what you have to do is the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame. The Hot Shoe Hall of Fame is a 501c3. It provides new shoes, what are called hot shoes. Diane is holding them for you right there to needy men, women, and children if necessary for good health and positive development. There are two things that you could do. If you would like to be a partner of this program, then you can reach out to us at onpitroadracing@gmail.com or give us a call at 702-803-0875, okay? We do not charge for advertising dollars to be part of this program, but if you make a donation to the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame, your television spots can run on this program and on this network. If you're just somebody that's just a great race fan out there, a good race friend, and you would like to donate to the cause, go to HOF. That's Hot Shoe Hall of Fame, hotshoehof.com. One more time, hotshoehof.com. That is it. In fact, if you do this, in fact, Diana, if I'll get on the game here real quickly, I can just do this and you can watch it come right across your screen. Right there it goes. Once again, just reach out to us at hotshoehof.com. And if you're not in, as far as a business wanting for commercial or being a partner of the program, you can just simply go to that website, scroll down to where you see the Heart Shoe, and there's a donate button right there. We accept Visa, MasterCard, American Express, PayPal, and Discover Card right there, and you can make their donation. 100% of the money goes straight to the Heart Shoes. Right here is what they are. Heart Shoes, the soul of it, man, the love of we put into men, women, and children right here at hotshoehof.com. There you go. Great looking shoe, Diane. There you go.
And they're very comfortable.
Yeah, there it is. They're very comfortable. Hey, I think that's going to do it for us for today. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. Next week, one of our brand new partners is going to be joining Jeremy Porter. He is the president. He is the CEO of Atlanta Motorsports Park. And we're going to talk racing with that guy and have a great time with us out there. All right, shall we hit John?
Thanks for joining us for On Pit Road Racing. Follow us on our website, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at On Pit Road Racing. On Pit Road Racing is written and produced by WCOBM TV. I'm John the Announcer for On Pit Road Racing.